All right, boys, we're back. As you can tell, it's the two of us. Two guys that annoy almost 100% of this league. So,
absolutely.
Figured end of the regular season, crazy one at that. So we figured we might as well get together and collaborate a little bit here. So, gonna go through the regular stuff like usual, but then we got a bunch of stuff on the back end that you guys may or may not find interesting. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, me and Matt set the over under of this video at about 20 minutes. So make sure you got a good spot on the shitter or something, or do whatever you can to block off some time, because it'll be worth. There's gonna be a lot of really good information here. None of it's gonna be pointless or useless at all.
Yeah, strap in. So, and if you guys are wondering, yes, this is the jacket. I felt it appropriate to wear it. I don't know if it'll ever see this house again.
Probably not.
So I figured, what the hell, might as well do it.
There is a 33% chance that one of us, that it stays here, but there's a 66% chance it doesn't. So
it has nothing to do with the fact that it'll make its way to the
yeah
shop at some point in the next 2 weeks.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Silhouette represent.
All right, we're going to kick this thing off here. We're going to go, I think we all know which matchup is probably going to be the matchup of the week. So we're going to start with Timmy and Benny. And Tim, with virtually nothing to play for, takes down Benny 120 to 102. Let's see, Tim had 21.5 from Josh Allen. Let's see, 23 from Mostert. That's about it. And Benny had 10 guys playing. That's about the extent of that.
Well, I mean, if you look at it here, Matt, look at it. He starts a quarterback who ended up on IR. Like, Ben, what are you doing?
Terrible management.
You clearly should know that if a quarterback's going to end up on IR, you don't start him.
So I guess for Benny, it's a Sam Howell show going forward. So.
That's true. And I'll challenge you on this. The only thing Tim was playing for was highest points of the year. He was in that running this week, so he did have something to play for. But other than that, he was already eliminated.
Yeah, he's preoccupied.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a kid.
Yeah. So, Tim, enjoy the toilet bowl. Benny, you're in the hunt.
Yep.
More on that in a little while. Next one is going to be probably the biggest ass kicking of the week. Mikey takes down Corey, 131 to 89. That's math I don't even want to do. It's a lot.
It's math, yep.
Mikey had only one guy breached the 20 mark. It's Moore from Chicago, 26, almost 27 points. Corey had 21 from 21.5 from Joe Mixon, and that's about it. He left 20 from Zay Flowers, right?
Yep.
Zay Flowers on the bench, 25 from Cook, not Delvin. Let's see. Mikey left 20 on the bench from Garrett Wilson. So there were some points there. Not saying it would have mattered much, but
if you guys add up your quarterbacks, it doesn't equal 20. Like, what are you two doing?
It's very true.
And you know me, Matt. I say this all the time. Corey had the weekly low score. So what did Mike do? He just didn't lose.
There's that.
I mean, he did have 131, but
there is that.
So both teams are already. I think both teams were already locked into playoffs anyways. It was just about who's going to get the bye. I believe with the win, I think Mike was pretty much guaranteed the bye or a bye anyways. Yep. But so Mike, you and another lucky competitor in this league don't play next week. Well, actually, 6 people don't play next week. But yeah,
it's a hell of a segue.
It is, yeah.
With that, generally speaking, when the brother-in-laws are playing, that usually ends up being the game of the week somehow. This time it's not. Buzzer, congratulations. With absolutely nothing on the line, you take down your brother-in-law. 131 to 160. Sorry, I know that just got to be a dagger.
This is the most painful loss I've experienced in a long time. I've had a lot of them.
With Christmas right around the corner.
Yeah, well, you know what? Luckily, I still have the gift receipts for those presents I bought him, so... Yeah, not good for you, Brandon. But anyways, continue it. Yeah.
That's all right. Brandon, Lamar Jackson, 32. Samuel from San Fran, 34. Solid 12 out of your defense, who scored a pick six. I believe it was like a 6-yard return.
Yep.
So,
He even had the Jaden Reed on his bench
Yeah.
with 20 points, and he didn't even. I mean, obviously we'd all start him. I mean, clearly
yep.
the name like Jaden Reed.
For some reason, you started Hurts. I don't know why.
I don't have another quarterback. That's why I started him.
That might be a problem.
I might need a quarterback moving forward here. I don't know.
Drake London got you almost 30.
Yeah. No, that was a elite fantasy football commissioner league mind, starting Drake London over the likes of Adam Thielen, Chris Godwin, and Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
I mean, just big brain energy there, but still lost by 15, so it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So congratulations, Brandon, on your third, fourth win, something like that. Yeah, you're in 10th place. Congratulations.
This might be the third, fourth consecutive toilet bowl for him, too.
It is. It's interesting. I have a couple tidbits on that later, and there's no conclusion, but I did offer Brandon a financial incentive to tank, and he didn't take it. Now, granted, I would not have taken it if he agreed to it. It was a test, but just wanted to let you guys know that Brandon does have at least a little bit of integrity, even though he has nothing to play for. It's almost like he was just trying to take me down to spite me. I don't know.
Well, there you go.
So,
All right, the next one is going to be me and Perk. I know you don't like doing it, but I will give Perk credit on this one. He actually showed up. I know. Differing opinions, I get it.
we'll never give Per credit.
The more interesting thing, I mean, he scored 145, almost 146. I put up 121, respectable, not
So
terrible.
you should win about 50% of the time.
Not
with 120
terrible.
points.
But the more interesting thing to me is the amount of points Perk had on his bench.
I didn't
He
look
could
at
have
that.
probably put up a 200 spot if he would have done it right.
You could.
Maybe not quite that high, but it would have been up there.
But I mean, who is he going to sit? His kicker got 24 points. He picked up Zeke Elliott. He was good, 3 years? No, actually, it was like last year, but 27 points. He picked him up this week. 20 points out of Bijan Robinson. Bijan, I mean, he was a first-round draft pick this year, I think.
Yep.
Has he even played? That coach in Atlanta hates him, apparently. And, yeah, you could have started Evan Ingram, 32 points. He was good like 10 years ago. See, look, okay, so interesting tidbit about Perk here. If you look at his team 5 years ago would have been great. Evan Ingram with the Giants. DeAndre Hopkins was he with the Houston? I think. Aaron Jones.
He was with the Houston.
Houston. I think he was with the Houston. Aaron Jones was good 5 years ago. Zeke Elliott was good 5 years ago. Yeah, I mean, Perk. I'm surprised Perk didn't try starting he did have Calvin Ridley actually. He was good 2 years ago. He didn't play last year. God, who's there's a wide receiver he always picks up and I can't think of his name. He had like one good day. I don't know. Anyway, it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so not bad considering Perk's probably tried to trade his entire team at some point this year.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one person in this league that hasn't gotten a trade proposal from Perk at some point.
Only one?
At least one. Sorry.
A week? Perk tries making trades before the season even starts. I mean, but God, this is painful. I will agree with you, Matt. How many wins did Matt get this year? 5?
Which one?
Matt Perkins.
Okay.
How many wins did he get? 5? What was
Sure.
he projected for?
I believe Yahoo had him at 1 and 13.
He
so
easily had to have beaten his projection by the most amount than anybody else in this league. I mean, what is that, a 400% increase on what he was projected to score or win?
Yep.
That's pretty good.
But anyway,
yeah.
after it's all said and
still in
done,
ninth.
after it's all said and done, there's still a 25% chance that screwdriver can stay in the drawer.
And hey, I did check last night at bowling. He parked next to me. That plate is still there. It's a little worn, looks a little rusted in, but it is still there. So,
Yeah.
all right, who we got left?
All
here?
right.
Is there any matchups we're talking about yet?
There is one, and I don't know if you ever went back and looked. I don't recall this ever happening.
I didn't need to go back and look to see if it ever happened.
I'm pretty sure I do recall it happening with two people in the same week, but not playing against each other.
Right.
Let alone the last week of the season when virtually a win-and-in scenario.
Exactly.
Nick and Mitch.
Who won?
Nobody.
Jeez.
They are currently 50-50 to win. Pending, there's an asterisk on
Yes,
this one.
we talked about
Pending
this.
stat corrections, if there are
It
any.
happened tomorrow, I believe.
Which crazier things have happened, but they tied at an identical 104.64. If anybody was watching the Monday Nighter last night, the one that mattered, Mitch had Barkley going, and Nick had Green Bay's defense going, and Nick made a comment earlier today that he should have screenshotted the the live point totals,
Yes.
or as they were coming in
Yes.
for the last
minutes of the
quarter,
game, yeah,
basically,
right.
last half of the last quarter.
Right.
It was crazy, back and forth. So
And just to say too, Mitch was projected to lose by like 15 points going
Yeah.
into Monday night. So I
Yeah,
mean, just the fact that he even made up that ground is pretty impressive.
yeah, I believe, what was it, an 83 to 17%?
It's something like
I believe
that,
is what
yeah.
it started at
Yeah, something
on
like that.
Monday night. But yeah, Barkley scored a few touchdowns, and Nick's defense, or the Green Bay defense, did virtually nothing. Other than recovering a fumble from Barkley at some point. That was, in essence, what made it a tie. But anyway, if it stands, there's no corrections, and the tie holds, Nick is in the playoffs. Mitch is going for the plate.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it fell. But yeah, they had Nick had 21 from Eckler, who actually showed up for once. We'll see what his value is now that Herbert's out for the year.
Right. Who's going to hand the ball now?
Yeah. And then White from Tampa, 21 and a half.
Yeah, Brees Hall on his bench for 27. He was his high point getter of the week, and he was on his bench.
Yep.
You deserve to not win.
I mean,
He didn't
how
lose
could you
to
not have faith in New York Jets offense in a
Right.
torrential downpour?
This is true.
I mean, and I believe that was 0-0 at halftime too. They put up 26 or 28 in the
Could have
second
been.
half.
Could have been.
If I heard that correctly, or 30 or whatever it was. Mitch had 23 from Barkley. That was it. Or excuse me, 23 from Barkley and 24 from New Orleans defense.
If you would have just not started a kicker, you would have won this week, Mitch.
Yeah, that's true.
Gay had negative 2 points.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's gay.
You said it. You said the quiet part out loud. So with that, the playoff matchups as they stand. If I can get to the right spot here, give me a second. So, Flounder ends up number 1 seed by Mikey, number 2 seed by. So Mitch and Benny, or excuse me, sorry Mitch, that's insult injury. Nick and Benny, and then me and Corey. So, and then everybody else basically has the week off, and then Toilet Bowl starts next week.
Yes. Which doesn't mean that you can't make transactions this week. If you got to buy, you can still pick up people, or you can fuck with people. I know that's been a thing in the past. So just the 4 of you playing, remember, there's the 6 of us still out there vying for these elite players that are on our waivers.
Yep. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember a last week of the regular season with that much on the line.
No.
With virtually nothing set in stone other than 3 of the 10 that we knew were going to be.
I was going to say, and I kind of have a little tidbit about this later here, but this was the closest week ending to week 14 we've had in a long time. Well, last week of the regular season, because it was week 13 a while back. But yeah, there's usually one team that runs away with it. I know Mike was that person last year. Ben was that person the year before, something like that. But yeah, this was very close. I mean
9 and 5 took the
right. And there was 2 of us at 9 and 5.
Yeah, there's 2 of you guys at 9 and 5, 8 and 6,
right,
and then 7, 6 and 1, which is just.
I know. It's ugly.
And I mean, 7 is 500 got me in the playoffs. So
right. Yeah, usually
only 2 games separated 6th and 1st.
Yep,
so
yep.
Crazy, but that's where it is. So
yeah, so those are the matchups. Got a couple tidbits here, Matt. You can jump into when you want. So we have it. You guys probably know. Corey was the high point getter for the regular season. So Corey, you win $50. Talking about ugly things to say coming out of your mouth. Corey won. Ugh.
Yeah, but if you spread that over the last time he won anything,
that's
like
true. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Corey has lost the most money in this league out of anybody. I got first place in the regular season, so that also nets me $50. What we had here, and these are my tidbits here that I came up with. I was really busy at work today.
City worker.
Yeah, yes, typical city workers. I'm surprised Brand doesn't have a bunch of tidbits too.
He does.
The low score of the year so far was Corey. You had a 75.5 point week. Matt, on the other hand, had a 185 point week. You are the high score of the year so far.
My one good week.
Yeah, you one good week. The lowest, so when I went through everybody's high scores of the year, Ben had the lowest high score of the year at 144, so not a great high score of the year. And the highest low score of the year was Brandon at 95. I don't know if that's really important or not, but Brandon had the longest longest losing streak of the year at 8. He lost 8 weeks in a row at one point. And I know
terrible.
Just terrible. And Nick had a 7-game winning streak, as we all know. And I have a couple tidbits about winning streaks. One of them will segue from Nick to Nick. Nick started with a 4-game losing streak, went into a 7-game winning streak, and then ended the year with a 3-game non-winning streak. Corey, you had 2 4-game winning streaks, and you had a 5-game losing streak in the middle of those 2 4-game winning streaks. Perk, you had a 6-game losing streak at one point. Mike started the year with the 6-game winning streak and finished second. Tim had a 6-game losing streak this year. Matt ended the year with a 4-game losing streak. Ben and I both had a 5-game winning streak at some point. So everybody had these long streaks of winning and losing. So it was not back and forth. I think Mitch was maybe the only one that had a semi-inconsistent results as far as week to week goes. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting.
So you got that going for you.
Which is nice. Yeah, it was just nice. The other thing that I found really interesting about this year, I'm sure you all realize it too, was Tim finished in 8th place, and you were 11.94 points behind Corey for the high points of the year. And I'm sure it's happened before, but to have that many points in the missed playoffs, I mean, that sucks. That fucking sucks, man. I'm sorry. I
not only missed playoffs, but you were out.
Yeah, you weren't even in contention. It's not like you had a chance this week. You were already eliminated going into this week. And alluded to this earlier. This is the 4th year in league history that the differential between the most wins and the lowest wins was 5. It's like Matt said, the most wins was 9 this year. The lowest wins was 4. It's happened 4 times total in the league history that the differential has been that. It's never been more than that. Or it's never been less than that. Closer, whatever. My other tidbits, sorry, Perk, don't mean to pick on you here, but, wouldn't be typical me recap if I didn't. Perk finished with the most or tied for weekly low scores of the year for the 4th time in his tenure here, and the 3rd time in the last 3 years. The last 3 years, Perk, you have had the weekly low score. You've had the most or tied for weekly low scores. And so then once I figured that out, I'm like, well, I got to dive into this a little further, of course. Perk, in the last 3 years, you've had the weekly low score 11 times. Next closest, Matt and Corey with 5. So if you take Matt and Corey...
and 3 of them are this year.
If you doubled those, you would still be beating them. So thank you for funding our bets that we've never won. We appreciate it. And the last thing I have is I bet you 2 or 3 hours on this at work today. I got paid $100 to look into this. I was trying to figure out the math on what the odds are of the tie happening. So what I did was I took the differential between the lowest score that's ever been scored in the league, which was Don, 64.02, and Ben put up a 224.5 or something like that. So there was, if you went to the 100th decimal point, there was 16,051 different scores that you could hypothetically score, in fantasy, without, saying you could get 2 points or something. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the birthday paradox, but it's it only takes 23 people for you to have a 50-50 chance of 2 people having the same birthday. So it's kind of a weird math thing. But if you take that, so if you put 23 people in a room, there's a 50-50 chance that 2 of them share a birthday, right? So technically, using that math, which is the right math, because I actually went to a statistics website, posted this question, and a bunch of people answered it that are actually statistic people. They said there was a 1 in 357 chance that 2 people on any given week would end up with this. So there is a 15 times more unlikely than 23 people in the room sharing a birthday. So math, but it's very interesting. But anyways, Matt, what do you got?
Sorry, I was looking up city jobs.
They are hiring. We are hiring. We're always hiring.
No, that was a crazy last week of the year. I don't remember one this.
No.
This
Well,
nuts.
last regular season week of the year, because I don't know if you
Regular
guys remember.
season week of the year. Yes.
There was a last week of the year when your brother had the championship locked up, and then his defense fumbled.
That poor bastard.
Or the other guy's defense had to return sick. Who did you even play that? I can't remember.
Buzzer. That was
yeah,
Buzzer's
that's
win.
right. Yeah, weird. Brandon got in on a fluke. Weird.
But he beat Nate, so there's that.
Yeah,
so.
we don't care. So
Anyway.
Yep.
That's
Like
all
I
we
said,
got.
we went over the 20-minute mark like I figured we would. But hey, hopefully your legs haven't fallen asleep sitting on the shitter watching this. So, and if you are sitting on the shitter watching this, I hope you're at least at work. So, because I know I would be.
There you go.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks for coming over, and good luck in the playoffs. Hope the everything goes well for you guys, and maybe we'll have to get that Playoff Perks truck, but I wouldn't plan on it.
It's fine right where it is.
I'm fine leaving it there too.
All right.
All right. See you guys.